Good day to everyone. We are here today to present to you our research study, but before that, let me introduce myself to you. I am Danica C. Esposito, and our research is entitled The Influence of Social Media Usage to the Academic Performance of the Senior High School Students in FINMA University of Pangasinan for the academic year 2019 and 2020. We all know that social media has exploded as a wide online discourse where people share content, information, opinions, and feelings in the different sites such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, MySpace, Viber, and many others. As the age of social media passed by, the internet world statistics said that there were 2 billions of internet users were with the penetration rate of 62% as of December 2018 in the Philippines. This gave an awareness to the researchers that there is a rapid increase where students spend most of their time in using social media rather than focusing on their studies. In order to know the root causes of the influence of the social media usage to the academic performance of the senior high school students, here is the statement of the problem. First, the researchers should know the profile of the respondents, which include the age and the gender. Second, how many hours does a student spend his or her time in using social media? Third, what is the average grade of the students in their academic performance? Fourth, is there a significant influence of social media to the academic performance of the students? Next, the hypothesis. Our null hypothesis is there a significant influence of social media usage to the academic performance of the senior high school students in FINMA University of Pangasinan? Furthermore, here's the conceptual framework. Our independent variable is exposure to social media, and the dependent variable is academic performance. Now, let me give the floor to Patricia Vidal.
Thank you, Mrs. Posito. The findings of our study would mostly benefit of the students, given the fact that they are the respondents of the study. We help the students to give an insight about the influence of social media and how it affects their academic performances. Second one would be the future researchers, to gain information that might benefit a larger audience and to give those an ideas to create less chaotic social media platforms. Next would be the scope and the limitation. Our study focuses only to the influence of social media usage on senior high school students in FINMA University of Pangasinan. Before we go to related studies, we must know the meaning of terms that we may encounter to our discussion. First is academic performance. It is the extent which students, teachers, institution has achieved their short or long-term educational goals. Articulate, clearly expressed, and easily understood. Bounded, something limits and restrains. Discourse, it is the use of word to exchange thoughts and ideas. Now, let me give the floor to Divine Padlan and Tracy Bailon for our related studies.
In related studies on social media, under foreign, ELCO lists social media effects on academic performance. Under local, Reggie D. Astadelo's social media impacts on the students' lives and academic performance.
Related studies on academic performance. Foreign. Owusu and Agatha's research is entitled Use of Social Media and its Impact on Academic Performance of Tertiary Students. Under local, Moralo and Isaac, Effects of Social Media to the Academic Performance of the Students in Lyceum of the Philippines, Laguna. To discuss the research design, I will give the floor to Janelle Signo and Jerome Veloria.
Our research design that we use is descriptive correlational. Descriptive research design is a scientific method which involves observing and describing the behavior of a subject without influencing it in any way, and it is correlational to show the relationship between the variables. Next would be the locale of the study. The study was conducted in FINMA University of Pangasinan, Arellano Street, Dagupan City. Furthermore, the respondents of the study were composed of 49 grade 12 ABM-01A students. The students belong to ABM academics. As we, the researchers, use a fishbowl random sampling technique in selecting the respondents. Now, let me give the floor to Jerome Viloria.
The instrument that we utilize is the survey questionnaire to gather the data in order to achieve the objective of the study. Moreover, for the completion of the research, the researcher used survey questionnaire or checklist as data gathering instrument was formulated, and a letter addressed to the respondents was made to ask permission for the floating of the survey questionnaire, noted by the research advisor and the principal. For the statistical treatment of data, data gathered by the research were carefully tallied, analyzed, and interpreted using the statistic tools to discover the influence of the social media usage for the academic performance of the students. The researcher used frequency counts, percentage distribution, and correlation coefficient. Now, let me give the floor to Princess Giselle Lopez and Janos de Guzman.
Chapter 4, the presentation, analysis, and interpretation of findings. This part of questionnaire is to know the profile of respondents. In order to know or get the percentage, we need to divide the total number of prospective respondents to the total number of respondents and multiply by 100. The total number of male respondents is 6, and the percentage is 12. The female respondents is 43 and the percentage is 88. This table shows the hours of using social media. Under 0 to 1 hour, there is 4%. 1 to 2 hours, there is 14%. 3 to 4 hours, there is 25%. And 5 to 6 hours, there is 39%. And for 7 and above hour, there is 18%.
The academic performance of the respondents. 41% of the respondents got the outstanding grades, and 57% of very satisfactory and 2% of satisfactory. For the fairly satisfactory and did not meet the expectation is 0%. The computed personal value is negative 0.21, which present the sufficient evidence for the researcher to reject the null hypothesis that there is significant relationship between the social media and academic performance of the students.
Now I am going to discuss the overall summary. The objective of this research is to determine the influence of social media usage to the academic performance of the senior high school student in FINMA University of Pangasinan for academic year 2019 to 2020. The type of quantitative research design used in this study is the descriptive correlational. This sample included 49 students in grade 12 ABM 01A. The main instrument is a questionnaire or checklist. The researchers utilized survey questionnaire to gather the data in order to achieve the objective of the study. The study was performed on June 2019 to October 2019.
Social media is a rising trend in the world today. The youth of today is growing up with this new technology and therefore thinks socializing through this new media is a primary communication for today's life. The role of social media and education and its effect on the student's academic performance has multiple dimensions. This study found a positive relationship between social media and students' academic performance, which means using social media has a positive effects on their studies. It is also found by the research that it is depends upon students' personality traits whether social media will affect their performance negatively or positively. Despite of the hours that students spending time using social media, they still maintain good grades. They do not usually let their academic performance be affected by social media. The advancement of technology has obviously paved way for the development of social media and the influences it brings forth. There is a relationship between the hours spent on studying and the hours spent in using social media. However, the level of effects to the academic performance of a student solely depends upon how they use it. Social media can be dangerous to a student and to its academic performance if not when not used responsibly, but the other way around if handled responsibly. Recommendation number 1. Both parents and teachers should allow their children to use social media for their academic performance so it would be easier for them to finish their schoolworks. Number 2. Students should use social media wisely, especially when it comes to their academic performance. Number 3. Schools should conduct seminars and symposium in order to monitor the proper usage of social media. Number 4. Future researchers should conduct the same study to offer new findings, to validate findings in another setting, to conduct research studies in the same field for the development and may further help other students, teachers, and others. Question number 1. What is your motivation for this study? My motivation for this study is first, my family who is willing to sacrifice many things just to give all I need to pursue my education. My group mates who are willing to do efforts just to finish our study successfully. And especially to our subject teacher who never fails to motivate us since day one, who always give us hope and cheer us up when we're really tired and getting a hard time in doing a research paper. These people are my reasons why my willingness and dedication to do this study to be done successfully. Question number 2. What is the scope of the study? The scope of the study is that we researchers focuses to the influences of social media to the academic performance of our students. Data gathered were obtained from Finma University of Pangasinan in 2019.
Question number 3. What limitation did you encounter? The challenges that the researcher encounter during conducting this study are lack of time, where the place is conducted this study what was full cooperation and participation of every student. Question number 4. Why are your research questions are important or interesting? Our set of questionnaires are very important because it serves as our tool on gathering information and at the same time very convenient for us and to our fellow student during the interview.
Question number 5. What is the most important sources in your study? The first important sources in our study is the article of the renowned authors. We use the article of the renowned authors to back up our research. And the second most important in our sources is the respondents. We use the respondents to answer our data and for our data gathering. Question number 6. What is your research methodology? To be able to find our quantitative research, we use descriptive correlational design to formulate survey questionnaires and floated under the vicinity of Finma University of Pangasinan inside the classroom of grade 12 ABM 01A having 49 respondents. Lastly, we use this method to have a definite conclusion.
Question number 7. How many respondents? Who are your respondents? And what was the sampling method used? Our respondents on this study is the grade of AVM01A, which composed of 49 respondents. The sampling used in this study is the fishbowl sampling in selecting the question number 8. What is your measurement instrument? The instrument that we use in our study is a survey questionnaire for us to gather the data in order to achieve the objective of the study.
Question number 9. What are your findings? The findings on our study is there is a relationship between social media and academic performance of senior high school students of Finma University of Pangasinan, which means it depends on the students how can they manage of use of social media without affecting their academic performance badly.
Question number 10. What's original about your work? What's original about our work is that we've done our research through our own perspective. Although we used arguments from other research work to back up our own arguments. What's original about our work is that we added more knowledge at the end of our work and we used other language with proper acknowledgments. We made it unique and proper at the end of our work.
Question number 11. What are the strongest and weakest part of your study? The strongest part on our study is the chapter 4 because it is where we can find the result from our problem that we are aiming for, while the weakest part is chapter 2 because there are a lot of resources that which are relevant and some are not. And also you have to finish first the chapter 4 in order to see if there is a relationship with the chapter 2.
Question
Thank
number
you.
12. Based on your findings, what is your recommendation? We recommend that parents and teachers should be the one to lead the students on how to use social media responsibly and how it benefits to their academic performances. On the other hand, to the future researchers, we recommend to conduct another study which has a relationship on the effect of social media and to the mental health of the students.
Question number 13. What is the importance of your study? The importance of our study is first, we are able to answer the problem that is bothering us. Second, to gain more knowledge about the said study. Lastly, to spread an awareness to our fellow students.
Is what would you change if you were conduct this study again? If I were given a chance to conduct this study again, I would like to change is first our respondents. Since it is only limited, I want to have a bigger respondents, not only to senior high school students but also every student as well, not only in Finma University of Pangasinan but also in other schools. Question number 15. What advice would you give to yourself if you could go back to start of your research? The advice that I'm going to give to myself if given a chance to go back and start again is first to have more patience so I can be an effective leader and I can handle my members without easily getting angry or irritated. And somehow, I would also like to give some advice to my members. I would like to say that they should do their responsibilities and tasks that I've asked to them so that we can finish our study immediately. And that's the end of our presentation. I hope you understand every details that we have tackled about our research. Thank you and God bless.